Hey, my name is Johan, and I work here at Noodle. It's very easy to deploy your Noodle web apps so that you can test and share with others. In this video, I'm going to deploy a web app to the Noodle cloud, but you can also use toolchains like Cordova, for instance, to create an app and deploy it to the phone app stores. We will look at some of the different options you have for deployment, and we'll also show you how you can save your web app to your phone's home screen and make it into a progressive web app. Please follow along in Noodle and deploy your own version as we go. Let's deploy our application by clicking this Deploy Application button. The dialog window that we now see gives us two main options. Your first option is to deploy your application to a local folder on your computer. This will be a complete web application, and you can take these files and host on any web server you like. We won't be choosing this option today, as it's a bit more involved, but if you have experience setting up web servers and hosting your own web apps, this should be pretty straightforward. The other option, which we're going to pick here, is to deploy the app to the Noodle cloud. We'll give our deployment a name and a description. You can have several different deployments for your app. You might have a staging deployment or a test deployment, as well as your production deployment, so make sure the names are meaningful to you. Also, be aware that the domain names are global, so if you pick a name and it doesn't let you deploy, it's probably because someone else has taken that name. You'll see an error message like this if the name you're trying to use is already taken. Let's click the Deploy button and wait until we get a message telling us the deployment was successful. When your app has finished deploying, you can see it in the Existing Cloud Deploy section here. You'll have the URL here, and you can click this button to copy it to the clipboard. We will click this soon to see our app in a browser, but first let's go through some more details. If you hover over the deployed info, you can see this little arrow on the right. Click that to see more options. Here you can disable the deployed app. If you do that, you won't be able to access the app from the URL, but the URL will still be taken. You can also delete the deployed app once it's been disabled, or you can enable it again, which is what I'm doing here. If you made changes in your components or app and want to push your new version to the deployed version, you use the Update button here. I will show you how to do that a bit later in the video. Let's copy the URL and look at our app in a browser. I'll adjust the size of the browser window a bit and then log in. Looks nice. You can of course use your phone to check out the app as well. Just go to the URL in your phone browser. As you can see, it works nicely on my iPhone here, and it would be the same on an Android device. It might be annoying to have all this browser UI in the way of your beautiful application. So on iOS, you can follow these next steps to make it into a progressive web app that you can access directly from your phone's home screen, just like any other app. First, let's tap the Share button, and then scroll down until we see the Add to Home Screen option. Let's click this, and I'm going to update the name here to Noodl To Do. Now, after I click the Add button, I have a new icon on my home screen. If you're on an Android device and using the Chrome browser, you can also save your app to the home screen by choosing the Save to Home screen in the options. Let's try it out. That's pretty cool, except for the top part of my app is white, and it would be nicer if it was the same color as my header. So let's fix that. Let's head back to Noodle, and let's select our app component. You might remember that the app component is our main component where our navigation stack lives, and this is a good place to add nodes that will affect our whole app. So to fix the header issue on the iPhone, we want to add a simple line of code to set the background color of my app's body tag. Since Noodle is built on React and HTML, it is possible to access HTML tags through JavaScript, and in our case here, we want to access the HTML body tag and set the background color. We do that by adding a script node. I'll select the script node and I will click the Edit button to bring up the code window. Here I'll type in document.body.style.background equals black. It's important that the color is in quotation marks, and you can set the color by hex code as well, but then you need to start with a hashtag. Okay, so this won't actually make a difference to what we see in our Noodle preview, but if we update our deployed version, it will make a difference on the phone. So let's click the Deploy button again, scroll down to our existing deploy, and click the little arrow button. Now I'll click the Update button, and Noodle will deploy the latest changes that I've made to the Noodle cloud. Now, back on my phone, if I now start the progressive web app, you can see that we have black all the way to the top. Pretty cool. That's how easy it is to deploy your application with Noodle. No need for long and cumbersome tool chains, just a few button clicks. We hope you have enjoyed these videos so far and that you feel inspired to build more with Noodle. In the next video, we'll add scrolling to our task list and make some suggestions for additional features you could add to the To-Do app. Thanks for watching, and please join us on our Discord server and share your Noodle journey with our growing community.